Every day you lose money. Not in a robbery, not in a tax office, not even in a bank transaction. You lose it while doing nothing at all. You wake up, check your phone, buy a cup of tea, maybe save a little for later. Everything feels normal, clean, controlled. But quietly, something is already happening in the background. A system is adjusting the value of what you own, without asking you. And the strange part is this. Most people will go their entire lives without ever noticing it. Now here's the question. What if the biggest tax you pay is not collected once a year, but every single day you hold money? That's what we're going to unpack. Because this invisible tax doesn't show up on receipts, it doesn't come with a warning, and it doesn't need your permission. Let's break it down. Right now, governments don't rely only on traditional taxes to manage economies. Income tax, sales tax, property tax, those are visible, measurable, political. But there is another layer underneath, a system that quietly reshapes purchasing power itself. It starts with something simple, inflation. Inflation is usually explained as prices going up, but that's only half the story. The real mechanism is this. Your money loses value over time. Not suddenly, not dramatically, slowly. Consistently, predictably. Imagine you have 100 units of currency today. You don't spend it, you just keep it. A year later, those same 100 units buy less. Not because you did anything wrong, but because the system repriced everything around you. That difference is your invisible tax. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most people think inflation is accidental, like weather, something that just happens. But in reality, modern economies are designed with a target inflation rate, usually around 2 to 5% in many countries. Why? Because a little inflation encourages spending, borrowing, growth. If money becomes slightly less valuable tomorrow, people prefer to spend it today. Businesses invest. Governments manage debt more easily. So in a way, the system is not broken. It is functioning exactly as intended. But here's the trade-off no one explains clearly. If inflation benefits debtors, someone else pays for it. And that someone is anyone holding cash. Now let's make this more concrete. Suppose inflation is 8% in a year. You keep 1,000 units of currency in savings. Without touching it, you effectively lose 80 units of purchasing power. No transaction happened. No fee was deducted. Yet your real wealth decreased. That is the invisible tax. And it gets more powerful when you zoom out. Because this doesn't just affect cash in your pocket. It affects wages, savings, pensions, and long-term planning. Now here's the contradiction. You are told to save money, but saving money in a high inflation environment quietly punishes you. At the same time, you are told to invest. But investing requires risk, knowledge, and access, things not everyone has equally. So the system creates a strange imbalance. Staying still costs you. Moving forward requires capacity. And this is where things become less abstract, because inflation is not distributed equally. Some prices rise faster than others. Food, rent, energy, essentials. While asset prices like real estate and stocks often rise in a different direction. So two people living in the same economy experience two different realities. One sees wages barely keeping up. The other sees wealth compounds through assets. This is where the invisible tax becomes more than just economics. It becomes a distribution mechanism. Not officially labeled, not voted on, but extremely powerful. Now step back and look at the global picture. Central banks adjust interest rates to control inflation. Governments borrow more during crises. Money supply expands during recessions. Each move has a logic, a reason, a policy goal. But combined together, they create a system where currency is constantly being reshaped, and the average person is always reacting, never designing. Here's the subtle irony. If you hold cash to stay safe, you lose value over time. If you take risk to protect value, you enter volatility. And if you do nothing, the system still moves around you. There is no neutral position. Now let's push this further. Over long periods, even small inflation rates compound aggressively. At 3% inflation, the value of money halves roughly every 23